a quick stop for lunch today reminded me um, of a really great learning experience from back in the day when I was in college. My parents bought a restaurant, and I remember it was one of those snowy days, and I was there finishing up at the second shift. It was about 15 minutes before 11 o'clock when our third shift was going to take over, and one of our really great servers, her name was Janice, was there, and she was a solid person who could do anything. You know, one of those employees that was like this kind of a key person you just don't find every day. A person who could do every job and do it very well within the organization. And she came to me about 15 minutes before the shift started as I was kind of wrapping up and doing my work to wrap up for the day and pitching in. She came and said, "Hey, our cook just called in sick. And I'm not sure what we should do." I said, "Well, I'm here, so I'll do it." And I'd never done that job before. I've never. That was as I was learning many of the jobs in that first few months of owning the business with the parents. So I said, "Well, I'm going to do my best." So my dad's friend was there. It was one of those snowy nights in Buffalo, and there's a fun tradition about what happens when there's a good likelihood of snow in the forecast in Buffalo. Everybody goes out and stays a little bit later and has some drinks and thinks, well, maybe I'll just, sleep later and I'll have fun the night before because work will probably be canceled. So everybody was kind of out and about messing around, and they would come to our restaurant because we were the only one that was open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They would come to our place for the, after drinks breakfast at about 2 or 3 in the morning. So my dad's friend was there because he was on call for plowing snow, and he was just drinking coffee to stay awake. So I said, "All right, I need your help. You're going to be my egg guy." So I knew everybody was coming in to have breakfast anyway. So he said, "What do you mean?" I said, "You're just going to stand here. I'll make everything else because it's always going to be pancakes and eggs." So I said, I asked for a little empathy from him, and he pitched in for that. That's kind of the message. But so we were there, and he and I were kind of going, and by around midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning, I don't remember what it was because I had no concept of time. I was overwhelmed. It seemed like people were coming in no less of mostly groups of 7 to 20-ish people. A couple of solo people came in by themselves, but I was just overwhelmed, and I felt like everybody was waiting at least an hour for food. I was just overwhelmed with it. Just the tickets were just overwhelming me, and Janice just seemed so calm as she was just quietly taking the dishes away as I was trying to prepare all the food and making it look great in the presentation and prepare it the right way, and just mind-boggling. So as the morning came around and the shift ended at about 7, we were kind of cleaning up, and I said, "Hey, Janice, I can't believe nobody left. It took so long for me to prepare the food." And she said, "Well, I was giving away drinks all night." I said, "Oh, well, thanks a lot. That was a great idea. Thanks for doing that." And then I said, but then she looked at me, and I was going to add some other silly thing, but she looked at me with a very serious expression, and she looked at me and she said, "If you would have walked out last night, I would have been about 3 steps behind you." And it was a great lesson about empathy, not only for colleagues, because like I said, she could have done anything, but she wasn't going to do it alone. And so, kind of acting like the owner, showing up and doing a job, even though I wasn't very good at it, she really had my back. And we got through it. We did a great job. Everybody was happy, and we got through it. One of those messy, snowy nights, just like a messy, snowy day in business. We got through it together. It was another lesson, though, about empathy, and it still holds true today. And it was another theme of the conversation was empathy for your clients and recognizing something about them. I remember I was looking at one guy, and I was hoping it was going to be his breakfast, and the plates kept going, and finally she turned around, and it was at the counter just over the half wall from my restaurant. We could look at the people as we were preparing the food, and she finally turned around, gave him his food, and he just smiled, and everything was good. Even today, though, some of the most important things you need to do is what I was doing that night. Was overwhelming to me, but now that I've had more time to reflect on it, with many years having passed, it's kind of a split shift that you can prepare, and maybe it's not necessarily one particular day or a day, maybe it's a segment of time during the week. But it's the split shift of getting things done, like getting all that food out, and then maybe another part of the shift, which is doing great things. And the conversation we had to reflect on when I spoke with Janice at the end of the day, um, getting things done and doing great things. And sometimes we get so caught up in um, doing the normal tasks, getting those things done. We don't stop to think about what our customers may have taught us or what else might be going on that might be the next iteration or innovation for us. And that was a great lesson in all that chaos, to stop and listen and ask some people, how is it going? What else did you see? Because I didn't see anything. I was just looking at tickets this close to my face the whole day. That were 8 hours. It felt like a day to me. It was all night. But I was so overwhelmed with getting things done, I didn't see anything else. And she, with her empathy and with her insight, was able to see a lot more than I did. And to stop and listen, to create that other part of the shift of recognizing how she was doing great things in addition to getting things done, was a great lesson. So I hope you can find times and ways to get your split shift organized, whether it's today or maybe later in the week, but sometimes split that shift up from just getting things done to doing great things. Talk to you soon.